Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Yay! I'm like, I know you'll say you see me when you see me. Hi, everybody, and welcome to session 3 of May. Can you believe it? Session 3 of May. Hard to believe. For me, anyway. I can't believe the month of May is almost over. I am super excited for tonight's class. We have so much to talk about, and I'll tell you, like, part of me doesn't even know where to begin with Ishtar. So I'm gonna just go with all the different energies that are present and share as much as I can about one of my favorite goddesses in any of the pantheons is Ishtar. And I have always felt so connected to her. And so tonight we're going to talk about a lot of different energies. We're going to talk about power. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about portals. We have to talk about vaginas. It's okay if you don't have your perfume, because guess what? I bet you will go back and do this meditation again at some point. I bet you will. So tonight, even if you don't have any tools, I think it's good just to be here. And let's go to Mesopotamia. Let's go to Babylon tonight. And then you can always circle back and I hope, honestly, that you do go back and do this journey again. I hope it resonates with you enough where you're like, I'm going to do that. And I will tell you, so the stone that is sacred to Ishtar is lapis. Some of you may know this story. One day I'm going to have these made. In fact, I need to talk to Brooklyn and just sit down and have her make them. Ishtar had like a rod, like a divining rod. Made out of lapis. And when she went to the underworld to find her sister, Eresh Kigal, it was taken from her, right, in the underworld. And that took her power with it. So if you have any lapis, like I put my lapis ring on, I only own one lapis ring, which is kind of funny. I mean, given what I do for a living. But lapis rings are like not common. We haven't had a lot of them in the history of SG. So if you have a lapis ring, or if you have a lapis bracelet, or if you have a lapis stone that you can hold, any of those things. The other stone that we know was sacred to Ishtar and the cult of Ishtar was carnelian. Lapis and carnelian were widely mined at that time. They were widely available, and they were carved frequently into lions. And in fact, in some of the temples in what is now Iraq, they found a lot of like lions carved out of carnelian, because lion was sacred to her, snake was sacred to her. So yeah, oh my God, your lapis Shiva would be incredible. Jenny has a lapis wand. Casey's got a lapis pyramid. So whatever you have, it really doesn't matter what it is. And if you don't have it, don't worry about it. But if you do have it, it's good to hold on to it. So even if it's a tumbled stone, just to kind of get in the energy of the stone. That's awesome. Coral's got her lapis necklace from the SG gem sale. So just grab, even if it's just a tumbled piece of lapis, I think that's pretty cool. Sodalite and lapis are the same mineral, except that lapis has pyrite in it. And lapis tends to be a little bit deeper blue. Now there's I don't want to take your time with this tonight, but there is a whole mineralogical conversation going on involving the kind of rock hounds and geological geeks in my world about the fact that the recent discoveries of lazulite are causing them to call into question the actual basic mineral composition of lapis lazuli. I'm not knee deep in those conversations yet, because I kind of want them to work it out. I'm not a geologist by trade, so some of the technicalities and stuff I find kind of boring. Like I want them to get to the bottom of it and then let us know. But they're saying that these discoveries of these pockets of lazulite in different parts of the world are causing them to call into question how much silicon dioxide is actually in lapis. I'll keep you posted. These conversations are ongoing. I know. It is interesting, but it's also, they also take it to like Like, I don't want to be in the, as I say, bits and bobs. You know what I mean? Like, let's sort that out and then tell us what the deal is. Your Lapis Sarasvati Palm Stone, which I have on my healing tray, you've probably seen it there before, Rinna, is a great alternative to have tonight. If you don't have any jewelry or any, like a pyramid or a generator or anything like that, the palm stone, a bracelet, necklace, whatever is perfect. Or no lapis at all, but I just want to put it out there. Okay, so welcome to session 3. I'm going to smudge because we are journeying tonight. Tina has raw lapis. I like it raw. I kind of like lapis however I can get it. I took a class when right after I had bought this ring, and we were opening portals. So I opened a portal to Egypt in this ring. And this ring sends me places whenever it'll be one of those things that I tell the kids, like, don't sell that one day. That ring has taken me to, you know, the Nile and up and down through the pyramids in Giza. So don't sell that one. Where did I get my altar table? Do you mean, which one are you talking about? I don't know. Do you mean this little poop? This one? Let me know which one you're asking about. Ooh, I like that. Gemstone Gypsy's lapis is in a cube with Flower of Life. That's rad. I like that a lot. It's so good to see you guys tonight. So take a deep breath. I want you to relax, roll your shoulders back. Call your energy into present time. Cynthia says we're buffering. Can anybody else give me feedback? Since I saw you last time, they actually hardwired this computer into the internet. So, yeah, actually there should never be a lag again because this is now hardwired in. So I think if it's buffering, it might be on your end, just because I've actually never had stronger internet for a live than I have right now, because I've never been hardwired directly in. I invested in that because I knew I was going to be teaching from home until September. So yeah, so actually you should never have, we should never have interruptions to class again because I made that move. Okay, good. So I want to begin to get you into ceremonial space a little bit. So I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you some stuff tonight. I'm hardwired. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, the invoices from the live gem sale are being sent today, this afternoon. So if you haven't gotten one yet, it'll be there. Yeah, it was a huge pain in the ass. And to be honest, I wasn't that thrilled about having people come in my house right now just because of all the virus situation. But I didn't want to have any more internet issues. It stresses me out. So we now have like the best. Yeah, so this actually, the poof, this thing is actually like a little pillow kind of. I got this at Urban Outfitters. I don't know if you know where Urban Outfitters is, but you can find it online. And then this, I actually got, it's an interesting story. This is Egyptian, this table and the tabletop, and I got it at the King Tut exhibit. It was actually, this piece was from the Museum of Cairo. So if they ever reopen that exhibit and it comes to you, they actually bring stuff from Cairo there. Isn't it pretty? It's actually a Moroccan wedding poof, if you have to know what it's called. So if you can't find it on Urban Outfitters, if you Google Moroccan wedding poof, you'll find it. Is that a Libyan Tektite ring? No. Which one are you asking about? This is lapis, and then this is moldavite. So I show off all my jewels to you. Okay, good. It was a great exhibit. I mean, I don't know if they'll do it again now that the world's in this weird place, but it was really amazing to be in the room with those pieces. And if you're like me and you have past life stuff with Egypt. I mean, Dave kept having to come over to me and like ground me because he would see me off in a corner, like looking at something, and I would start to kind of like lose my footing. He's like, no, come back. You can't like go through the portal and leave. I was like, oh my God, I know that piece. I've been there. I've seen that. And he's just like, no, we have to go. No, I felt such a portal opening in so many different parts of that exhibit that I was like, ground me, bring me back. I'm going to lose myself here. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah, or we can go together. That's right. If I have to go through a portal and leave this dimension, then come with me so I'm not alone. Okay, so we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. One bit of business, two bits of business. In case you missed my live earlier today, I want to tell you about June 19th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I am doing a bonus private summer solstice ritual with you and Crystal Masters. At 4 p.m. Pacific time, YouTube private summer solstice ceremony. The public one is on the 20th. So you can come to both. You can pick one. If you're only going to pick one, I'd probably come to our private one. Just because it's a ceremony that I'm designing just for our collective. I'm trying to get a fire pit in time so I can do it outside with you. So there are optional, and I want to underscore optional tools at sagegoddess.com. I have 200 sets left, and then that's all for that. Or you can get just the incense, but I have about 200, maybe it's 190 total left of the perfume, incense, candle, and stone set. So if you missed the live from today, oops, watch me throw it. These are the tools. So because my design team is finally back, so I was actually able to make stuff. So this is Summer Solstice private tools for Sage Goddess and or for Soul Shift and Crystal Masters. So this is the longest light candle, because the summer solstice is the longest day of the year. This is your fire incense, feminine fire, and then this is your solar priestess perfume. And then it comes with your solar aura quartz. Isn't that beautiful? And it comes with honey calcite. But again, I have 200 kits left-ish, 190. Your code is 18 Luna if you want it. It is optional, but I wanted to let you know it's there. And you can get just the incense. So the whole kit is $49. You get the perfume, the incense, the candle, and the 2 stones for $49. After your discount, it's like $42, which is a really good value, because usually our perfumes are $30 on their own. So to get the candle, the incense, the 2 stones, and the perfume for $42 is pretty good. Isn't that solar quartz gorgeous? Or you can just get the incense for $19 if you just want that, or you can get nothing for $0, which is $0 after your discount. And whatever works for you. But I did want to, the main reason I did it is a lot of people were upset because there was a public set that went live and it sold out the same day, and they were like, wait. Aren't we going to have tools? And usually I would do something for you separately, but I didn't have my team at the time. So since they started working again last week, I was like, let's do something special for Soul Shift and Crystal Masters. So that's the kit that's in the shop. So if you already got it, you're good. If you haven't gotten it yet, don't leave now, because I want to do the thing with you. But I think Tatewari is a great candle to use for solstice. Yeah, if you don't want to buy any tools, then you can use your Tatewari. No question. I mean, it's not the same. Tatewari is Palo Santo with cinnamon. This is cinnamon, lemon, vetiver, ginger, saffron, cardamom. Yeah, lemon, cinnamon, vetiver, and clove. So this set's a little bit different. You know what I mean? There's no Palo Santo here, and then you have the other 6 or 7 herbs that are part of the pieces. But why not? It's got a common ingredient. Yeah, and they're so happy to be back and designing tools, and Gabriel did the art, and it's so nice to have the team back and functioning. I can't even tell you. It's really pretty. Okay, I do want to tell you one. So that's that, and your code is 18 Luna. I have 84 jars of incense left and 200 kits, plus or minus about 10. Okay, and then, so the henna and the waist chain is still not here yet from India. So we're not going to have it in time for next Wednesday's session 4. And that's not, the tools are done. They just are having trouble in India shipping. It's really difficult what's happening in the world right now. So they had thought they were going to be able to ship everything last week, and then they couldn't, and I feel terrible for them. So, so we are going to push our session 4 back, and here's why. Because you and I had made an agreement that even if we didn't have the tools, we'd still have class. The problem with session 4 is the tools are the class. You know what I mean? I'm going to be applying henna with you. I'm going to be doing a henna meditation with you. And if I don't have a henna tube, I can't do the meditation with you. So, because our class is putting on our flash tattoos, using our henna tube, putting on our waist chain. It's basically embodying Ishtar as session 4. So you should have everything except your generator, your waist chain, and your henna tube. You should have your flash tattoos, your candle, your perfume bottle. You should have all of those things, right? Alexis can check on that on your April tools. If you're missing any of your April tools, she can check. Yeah, it's coming. So we're going to push it back. I think we're pushing session 4 back to the first week of June. And instead, because I still want to teach you, so what we're going to do next Wednesday, instead of session 4, because I won't have your henna tube to you in time, I'm going to do your bonus class for you on how to read an astrological chart. So you're actually going to get a 5th class for free this month, because I'm still going to do your session 4 for you when we get the henna tube, and then I'm adding in a session 5 on how to read astrological charts. It's going to be a 1 to 2 hour bonus class. So basically, I'm going to teach you in real time with a chart how to read it so that you can be doing readings for people. So hopefully that's good news. I know it's frustrating with the tools. Believe me, it's not our fault. Like we can't govern what happens in other countries. We can't govern USPS. We have no control. But I can still teach you. And then as soon as we have our henna and our waist chain, then we'll do our session 4 and we will henna ourselves up, and it'll be just as exciting then. So you're not losing out. You're actually benefiting from the experience, and I'm stoked because I've been wanting to teach this bonus class for you for a while. Remember we talked about this? So anyway, you're still going to have a class, and then we will have even an extra class. Yeah, I will tell you, USPS is a mess right now. Be patient with them too, because it is an absolute mess. I have personal packages that are delayed by 3 to 4 weeks, but right now by USPS. I had one package that was being shipped to me. It was something I bought on Etsy. It was being shipped to me from New York. It's in Puerto Rico. I was just like, what? I mean, it is so backwards right now that we just all have to practice a lot of patience, even me. And the woman reached out to me and she's like, I don't know what to tell you. The mail's so screwed up. And I'm like, honey, you don't have to tell me anything. I am living how screwed up the mail is. I'm not kidding. And it was something I wanted to give as a gift. So I'm just like, now I don't have the gift I wanted to give. Pretty crazy. Yeah, Amazon has canceled 25% of my orders with no notifications. So not to burden you with my problems, but it's been a real challenge, and I'm living through it too. So I completely understand. Yeah, the bonus class is going to be at the same time. Thank you, Valerie, for that question. It's a great question, so I can clarify. So the bonus class is still going to be at 4 o'clock, just like we always have class. We'll have readings at 2. We'll have class at 4. Except instead of being the session 4 of this month's Soul Shift, it's going to be the bonus, let's learn how to read astrological charts. And then when the thingies arrive, we will do the thing. It's a lesson in something, man. And why not? You get to learn more things this month, so that's not... Joanne, okay, and I see you, you cutie pie. Yeah, well, thank you. And I'll pass that on to him, Rochelle. Okay, I do want to show you the flash tattoos, though. Some of you have already decided to wear them. A couple of you have asked if we can sell more of these, and I need to find out. Actually, Alexis, would you find out if we have backup on the Ishtar tattoos? Because I've wanted to use mine. I actually wanted to wear one of mine this week, and I'm like, this is the only set I have. So Alexis will sleuth this for us and find out if there's actually more Ishtar tattoos, because I really, really, really want more tattoos too. And so maybe we can put extras on the website for you if you want them, or you can just wait and save them and do them when we do our crafting. Aren't they pretty? Gabriel designed all of these. This one's my favorite. Isn't that beautiful? Super cool, isn't it? So anyway, if we have extras, maybe we can put them on the website for you. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? So yeah, that way, even if you didn't get the kit, but you wanted the tattoos, maybe, I don't know if we can do that. They might have just ordered what they needed for the kit, so I actually don't know how they rolled with that, but... Diane's daughter tried to steal hers from her. I love that. And then these are your... eye jewels and forehead jewels, and you can be totally creative. I love these so much. Every time I've done a photo shoot for SG, I always have these on, and I cut them. You can actually cut them and then just use little bits and pieces. You don't have to use them exactly as they are on the sheet, so you can get really creative with that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought about that too, because I think this, I actually would really like to have this as a real tattoo on my back. Wouldn't that be cool? Or like do like an Ishtar tramp stamp. Which I've thought about too. I'm glad you like them. Ooh, yeah, we have the runes in a circle flash tattoo. Where are those? I don't even know what happened to those. We'll figure it out. Okay, so I wanted to show that to you because I wanted you to know. So the Star of Ishtar... By the way, remember, and I love, when I go back and like refresh on the goddesses, I love to remember the interesting details. That Ishtar, in most of the representations, has bird feet. Like that. Lots of people have different views and philosophies and thoughts about why Ishtar was always represented with having bird feet. But I think that the goddesses... I mean, my theory is they were hybrid, right? They were hybrid human-animal. We know that that was a common theme coming out of Atlantis. I believe that most Atlanteans were hybrid human-animal. And so that's why you have the Sphinx, right? That's why you have lots of these different representations, Thoth being half, ibis and half human. So it's a pretty common theme that you see, but some people have asked, like, why does she have bird feet? I also think it's a way of expressing the fact that the goddesses were gods. You know what I mean? That some of them, I believe, were probably hybrid alien, coming from the sky, and our ancestors didn't know how to explain the fact that they were flying. So it's like, oh, they're birds. Like, okay. Oh, I love that. Julie was told to dress up for class. I actually had a little bit of that instinct too. And then I was like, I just didn't want to put on a bra. I'll be honest with you. I have to wear a bra tomorrow, and I just don't want to wear a bra 2 days in a row. Ishtar gets it. And then I thought maybe I should just be naked, and then I thought, I think I can get in trouble for that. So my happy medium is that I'm dressed and I have a partial bra on. Yeah, I have makeup on. I mean, I did a little bit of Ishtaring. I just didn't, put the girls in a saddle, right? It just didn't feel good to do that 2 days in a row. I have a little thing on, but I don't have it's not a full girdle. I didn't strap them down. Feels good, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah. I've got a lot going on, so I have to have something to hold them in, but I'm not into the bra every single day. Okay, so anyway, these are the tattoos that we'll be working with when we gather for our crafting session. Melissa doesn't even wear a bra. I love it. I honestly have, at so many points in my life, have fantasized about having breast implants just because I wouldn't ever have to wear a bra again. Don't worry, I haven't. I'm not going to. I've decided not to do that. I don't think it's really great for your health. But I have thought about it before. But I'm going to stay natural. That's how I'm going to roll. Okay. So I'm going to teach you first, and then we'll go into our journey space. I hear you. I feel you. Set them free. Yeah, I don't think I need it. My boobs are still in a good place. I mean, we can talk in 5 years, and if they're really journeying south, then I'll have to, figure out a way to sort of clamp them, get them up there. And I call it a pick and stick. So we'll have to talk about the pick and stick later if things start to travel more south. But right now I'm pretty satisfied with my gravity situation. Okay. See, we're talking about Ishtar, so we can talk about things like this because this is actually really relevant. We're talking about, the female body, and we're going to talk about vagina tonight because we have to, because Ishtar believed that her vagina was a portal to magic, and so I want to talk about historically how that's always been perceived as true. The female vagina is a portal, right? So we're going to talk about that too. Okay, are you ready for the teaching time? Let me teach you, darlings. I'm just going to share with you some of the highlights of what I know about Ishtar and how important some of these different facts and insights are from the past so we can understand. Okay, if you think about it, the vagina is a portal to life, right? I mean, that's only one of my children came through mine. The other one was a C-section, but even so, I mean, in theory, that's where life emerges, right? Unless you have problems like I did with Zoe, or other issues that lead to a cesarean section. But most life comes through the portal of the vagina. It is between the worlds. Bonnie, I think we're going to do herbs during session 4 is what I was thinking, because I thought it'd be really sexy to be burning the incense and be adorning ourselves at the same time, because priestesses did that in the temples. So my plan was not to burn the herbs tonight, to burn them during our session 4, and tonight we'll be working with our perfume to anoint, and then we'll be doing our journey tonight. But thank you for asking that so I can clarify for you. It's true. Okay, so let's begin at the beginning. As much information as I can give you. So Inanna is the primordial goddess. I-N-A-N-N-A, I believe. Let me double check that. I always get it confused if it's I-N-N. I think it's I-N-A-N-N-A. Yes, I-N-A-N-N-A. Oh, Alexis always takes notes. Not to worry, Carla. Every class, she takes notes. It's good for you to ask, but she always does it. Okay, I-N-A-N-N-A is the original goddess, according to most traditions. Now, you have Danu. So Danu and Inanna, okay, are the two primordial goddesses. The Inanna primordial goddess essence archetype anchors us into Sumeria, right, which is really what we call the birthplace of Western civilization. Everything that we know and do and think about and study today was born in Sumeria, was born in Mesopotamia, which is actually located right near, adjacent to modern day Iraq. And that's why I was telling you earlier, when we had the Iraq War, the worst part of that war was the destruction. And a lot of what was destroyed in Iraq wasn't destroyed by the U.S. A lot of it was destroyed by Saddam Hussein and by Iraqi forces. They destroyed a lot of their own sacred sites and sanctuaries. So it isn't even a political thing or a government thing. It's just what happens during war. It's the price of war, is the destruction of some of these really, really, really sacred and holy sites. And sometimes people, even in their own countries, don't know the significance of what they have. It's like, do we know the significance of everything in the U.S.? Do people in the UK know the significance of every building and every monument? Some people do. A lot of people don't. And so that's, the same thing, by the way, in Syria. Syria is holy, sacred land. Iran is holy, sacred land. And again, I'm not talking about whatever you think of Iran or Syrians today, because there's, a lot of people don't like what's going on in different parts of the world. But I'm talking about ancient Syria. And I'm talking about ancient Persia. These are holy, 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 sacred, sacred, sacred. So Inanna is the primordial goddess that anchors us to, that's right, that anchors us to Mesopotamia and Sumeria. Danu is the primordial mother goddess that anchors us in in the north, right, through the Celtic tradition, the Druid practice and traditions, and the whole lineage that leads us to the UK through Ireland and England and that area, that region. Some people even collapse Inanna and Danu. So go with me for a second because I don't want to confuse you. Inanna is the mother of the Anunnaki. And so some people talk about Inanna and Danu as actually being the same essence that got split when we started to see kind of a north versus a south, or a west versus the east, you might say. And that you can hear An in both names. Inanna and Danu are both linked to the Anukim, which was the original civilization, the original race. I don't like to use the word race because race is a really modern word. People talk about race and racism all the time, but what they don't realize is the word race is only about 200 years old. Did you know that? It is a really new word. At most, it's 300 years old. Before 300 years ago, nobody ever talked about race. It wasn't even a word that anybody would have used to describe groups, right? So I don't even use the word race because I just feel like it's not accurate. We have to use other words that kind of really get out more of the ancient energy. But it's all connected, right? Egypt is connected to Samaria, is connected to England and Ireland. I mean, it's all connected. There's one origin story. But then it gets what we call inflected. It gets interpreted through the lens of wherever you are. So if you are, from England or from the UK and you follow sort of a Norse tradition or pantheon, then you're going to want to anchor that origin story in the north. And so Danu becomes the primordial mother goddess figure. If you anchor yourself more in the Egyptian traditions, which have direct Sumerian, Mesopotamian, and also the Greek and Roman, because the Greeks and Romans also link themselves to Sumerian Mesopotamia. In fact, Ishtar is Astarte and Athena, and even Aphrodite. Like, all of those names are iterations, like I say, inflections of this goddess. So even I link my name and my lineage back to Ishtar. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, and I mean, Heidi Cruz, it's interesting, right? Like, we can play with different words. Tribe, a lot of people don't like the word tribe, so I don't use that either. I have to really be careful because, my work is out there. So if I use the word tribe, then people were like, that's, you can't use that word because it only is used to describe Native Americans, and so you can't use that word if you're talking about any other group or population. So I don't use tribe. People are very, very, very careful about the use of that word. Tradition is a little less charged. I mean, I think tradition would be a good thing. I like lineage. Ethnic group is good too, but then ethnic has kind of a association too. And then you'll get people upset with the word clan. You're not Scottish. What are you talking about? Clan is only a word that we use to describe the Scots, right? So, well, Asherah, it's a great question. Asherah also falls out of this. Asherah, Astarte, Ishtar, they're all considered to be the queen of heaven. And it's just a difference in the lineage or the how the mythologies bore fruit, right? Or where they got anchored in. So I'll keep using lineage. I don't try to please everyone, because you're right, it's hard to please everyone, but I do try to avoid the landmines. Tribe is a landmine. That's why I haven't really said the word shaman or shamanism in 6 months, because it got so distorted and people were like, well, I'm a shaman, but you're not a shaman. Well, if you're not Siberian, you're not a shaman. Well, if you didn't train with the Karo, you're not a shaman. Well, if you didn't almost die during your initiation, then you're not a shaman. I had somebody tell me that my initiation wasn't a real initiation because I didn't almost die. I just lost my vision. Like, people just want to own all of these terms. So you'll find me, I actually have moved away from all of the language because I just don't know what to do with people, and I think it's kind of ridiculous. So I don't do it anymore just because I don't want to hear I don't want to hear it because I think it's really bogus. Yeah, I love you, Renee Hilton. I read your comment, Vanya. It says labels, but I read it as labia because there's actually a whole story about Ishtar and her labia. It's been a long day. And I actually was rereading the labia story today. So I think you meant labels, and I read it as labia. And maybe labia is a good word. Like, hey, do you want to be part of my labia? At least people can't say that I'm using charged words. I'll stick with labels. Yeah, no, it's really true. I've been reading about labia today. We'll talk about it. It's good stuff. It's a good time. What are we going to do? Okay, so let me go back through this. Inanna. Okay, so first we have Danu and Inanna, who are the mothers of the Anukim, or the Anunnaki, who were a race of human-ish. The Anunnaki, as the story goes, were the ones who were cultivated to mine gold. So what happened was, when before the earth was colonized with humans, it was basically scouted as a location. And the reason that the Anunnaki chose the earth as a place to colonize is that it had a high proportion of gold in the crust of the planet. Not every planet has as much gold as Earth does. Earth really has a huge proportion of gold. We've mined a lot of it, but you can even see how gold has driven people in this century to do crazy things, right? Risking their lives. We still have shows like Dave watches Gold Rush. I don't find it that interesting, but he loves it. There's something about gold and the hunt for gold and the value of gold and all of this stuff that still really drives human beings on this quest today to find it and to mine it and to sell it, and right? But the Anunnaki, the theory is that their civilization was being destroyed. And what they needed for X, Y, and Z reasons was gold in order to survive. So they found gold on Earth. They created this race of humans or humanoids to do that work. And then the story is they got here and they realized how actually hard it is to mine gold, how hard it is to find it, how hard it is to mine it. So in theory, we are all descendants of the Anunnaki. Some people claim that the Egyptians are more direct descendants of the Anunnaki. And certainly I think people who can trace their lineage to Mesopotamia, to Babylon, to Babylonia, to Sumeria, I think those people can really claim a direct lineage to the Anukim. Isn't that interesting? Carla said we are named Costa Rica because of gold. Fascinating, isn't it? How much gold has driven and to this day continues to drive, right? Okay, so it goes Inanna, Danu, right, and then it breaks out from there. So Inanna to Ishtar to Astarte, which is how her name evolved in the Phoenician and Greek tradition. Keep going down. In the Bible, she becomes Esther. Interestingly enough. Isn't that interesting? So everyone you know who's named Esther, and it's not that much of a popular name anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, like people I know who are named Esther are either, I know a couple of younger ladies in their 20s and 30s named Esther, but most of them are older than the age of 70. It's kind of a name that lost favor, but it is a biblical name. And so Ishtar became Esther in the Bible. Aphrodite and Athena have loose connections to her. Esther Hicks, right? Interesting, isn't it? And then Aphrodite, the connection between Aphrodite and Ishtar is an interesting one, and you can end up going down that rabbit hole. But part of it is the connection to Venus, because Ishtar has a unique connection to the energy of Venus, and so does Aphrodite in the Greek tradition. Okay, Eostar, Ostara is Ishtar. So two of Ishtar's symbols are the rabbit and the egg, in addition to the lion and the star and the snake. Sound familiar? I mean, I'm telling you, you start doing this work long enough and you begin to believe in everything and nothing at the same time. Because if you've thought that Easter was always a Christian thing, and then you find out it wasn't really a Christian thing, it was kind of a pagan thing, and it turns out it wasn't really a pagan thing because Ishtar predates paganism. So it's actually a Mesopotamian thing. And then how far back do we go? Right? So you start to believe in everything, and then you start to believe in nothing. You start to believe in an origin. I shouldn't say nothing. You start to believe in a single origin of all of the stories. I hope I have enough time to tell you as much as I want to tell you tonight, because it's so fucking fascinating. So do you guys know the story of Ishtar's descent to the underworld to find her sister, Ereshkigal? Do you know that story? I'm wondering if I can give you like a 2-second version of it. The egg and the rabbit were two of Ishtar's symbols, which is how we link her up with Ostara. Okay. Okay. So Ishtar had a lot of power. She was the queen of heaven. But one day she was visited by these little forces, they call them demons, but I mean, that's not really a word that holds up historically. It's something that sort of a Christianized version of spirits that come from not heaven. Okay. And so these, it's a great story, isn't it? So I'll tell you the quick version of it. So these little beings came to her and kind of whispered her in her ear and said, "You're the queen of heaven, but you'd be even more powerful if you went to the underworld. Because there you would have all the power over all the worlds. You would have the power over all of the heavens and the earth, and then you would have power over all of the unseen forces of the underworld. So you should go there. And when you get there, this is who you should talk to, and this is what's going to happen." And in her mind, Ishtar had always been told, you don't go to the underworld, okay? Because no one returns. And so, but she was like, well, but the little ones whispering in her ear were like, no, you can go. It's your sister's the queen of the underworld. You'll be safe, kind of thing, right? That's where I'm going with this, Casey. Ding dong, right? Casey got it where I was headed. What does this remind you of, right? There's this descent to the underworld, right? And then there's even sort of there's a resurrection. She's brought back to life after a few days. Through a miracle. What does that sound like, right? So here we have, so anyway, she goes to the underworld, and there's the guardian of the gate, and she says, "I am here to see my sister." And so the guardian of the gate says, "Well, I will tell my queen that you are here." And so Ereshkigal says, "Go and get her and bring her." But there were all these gates in the underworld, and so the Ereshkigal told the guardian of the gate, "Go and get her and bring her to me. But at each one of these gates, you're going to have," she's got all this armor, okay? And so, because she had armbands, and she had her lapis rod, and she had her lapis necklace. She had all these were her like protective jewels, okay? And so the guard at the gate said, "Bring her down here. But at each one of the gates, I want you to take one thing away from her." So they took her robe off, they took her jewelry off, they took her band away from her, they took her rod away from her. At each one of the gates, she lost something. And at the end of all the gates, she just stood there naked, and her sister killed her. It's not a happy ending. And her sister hung her body on the wall. Ta-da, right? And so before Ishtar had left, she told her priestess, "If I don't come back in 3 days, I want you to do these 3 things, okay? I want you to first go to my father and explain what happened to him and have him find me. And then if my father won't find me, I want you to go to this other person and have him look for me. And then if he won't find me, then I want you to go to this other person and have that person look for me." Like, Ishtar knew what was going to happen. So of course, right? Her priestess does everything that Ishtar asked her to do on the 3rd day. And so her father says, "I knew this would happen. The power over heaven wasn't enough for Ishtar. She was power hungry. So she went down there. This is her problem, and I'm not doing anything about it. This is what she gets for, wanting more power." Because she wanted more power. That's why she went down, Heidi Cruz. She thought she could have dominion over heaven and the underworld at the same time. Her sister was vengeful and did not want Ishtar to rule with her. I mean, her sister was not interested in having her power usurped, right? Her sister was like, we're good here. And her sister said, you know that when you come here, you don't leave. Like, even her sister was like, what the hell are you doing here, right? So finally, this is such a long story. I'm trying to give you like the Cliff's Notes version of it. I'm leaving a lot of details out. So finally, the last person says, we will go and get her. Here's the plan. Okay. Sent another person in. Actually, no. What did he do? It was the god who had finally done it. So the god took dirt from under his fingernail and created, how did it go? Created the essence of life, and then dirt from another fingernail and created the essence of flesh, I think. I can't remember what the two were. And so created these two little creatures, okay? And the god sent these creatures and said, you're going to go back to the underworld. And when you get there, you're going to be very kind to Ereshkigal. And no one is ever kind to her. So when you are kind to her, she is going to want to grant you a favor for being kind. And so when you find her and you're kind to her, she's going to say, I would like to give you a favor in return for your kindness. What would you like? And he said, she's going to offer you all these things. You say no to those, then she's going to say, okay, well, what do you want? And she won't be able to refuse you. So you have to make her promise that she'll give you whatever you want, and then you tell her, I want the body on the wall. Okay, so the two little creatures go down, they get the body on the wall. Ereshkigal had to honor it because she had promised her word, and so but she was like, no, but you can't take her, she can't leave. So because those two little creatures were carrying the essence of life and the essence of earth, or whatever the other one was, they were able to revive her and get her out of there. And that's how she was brought back to life after 3 days, sort of like the resurrection. So that's the descent of Ishtar. And what's interesting is, depending on how you look at it, like, you know, the descent below reminds us so much of Persephone. The quest reminds us of Demeter, right? Like looking everywhere. Even the language that they use, like in the Greek mythology, they talk about Demeter pulling her hair and pulling her eyes in grief as she's looking for her daughter, and then having to consult dark magic. Remember that Demeter had to consult with Hecate in order to open the gate, right, to get Persephone out of the underworld. And so there's always this, isn't it interesting? Like, I've got chills telling you, there's also always these kind of like intermediary forces, but the extent to which, I mean, tonight I'm taking you back to the beginning of Western civilization. These Mesopotamian origin stories are the original origin stories. The high priestess of Inanna and Hedwana is the first author ever in the history of man. I mean, this isn't mythology, this is history. The high priestess of Ishtar is the first author ever in history to write something and sign her name. The first human ever to wrote in cuneiform, and it was Ishtar's high priestess. It was a woman, the first human who ever put letters on something with a name and signed it was a woman. So it's but these take us back to the Christ narrative. They take us back to the Demeter and the Persephone mythology. There's always this quest for more, right? We're not happy with what we have, so now I got to find more. I know it's dangerous. I know it's risky. I'm going to do it anyway. Oh shit, I got in trouble. Wait, I got killed. Let me get resurrected. You know what I mean? Like, let me find somebody who'll go down there and intermediate for me. Well, it's a great question from Debbie J. She's like, are these gods and goddesses real people or not? Ishtar is where it gets interesting, because the answer is most of them were energies, archetypes, figures that our ancestors created to try to describe nature, right? Was there really a goddess Athena of wisdom? I don't think so, right? I mean, I think I'm named after an archetype, right, that got formed into a goddess. But what's interesting about Ishtar is there is a little blurring of boundaries there, whether Ishtar existed in reality as a physical form. We know that she had high priestesses and that they were real, right? So Ishtar's the one where it gets a little fuzzy between what was human and what was mythology, right? What was just a figure of the imagination. Fascinating, right? Woo, I know, I'm taking you somewhere, so hang tight. So Ishtar is mother of Anunnaki, mother of the gods, primordial goddess of war and creation and fertility. What else do I want to tell you about that? So I want you to visualize, because it's important for our journey tonight, I want you to visualize the area that we're talking about, okay? So how can I make this easy for you? I will draw for you. So this is Egypt, right? Egypt. Okay. And then right here, how did I, yeah, this is where yeah. Above Egypt is what they called the Fertile Crescent. That says fertile, okay? The Fertile Crescent, and then up here is Iran and sort of the rest of the Middle East, right? Iraq. There's two rivers that ran through the Fertile Crescent. One was called the Euphrates, or is called the Euphrates River, and the other one is the Tigris. So the reason they called this the Fertile Crescent, first of all, it's shaped like a crescent. It's between Egypt and Iran. And this was really the only place that anything would grow. And the reason everything grew so well is that this whole region was fed by those two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. And then those two rivers both dump into what's known as the Persian Gulf. Okay, so this helps you to see, especially if you're my age and you were alive during the war in the Persian Gulf. One of my best friends fought in that war twice, was deployed twice, has crazy stories to tell. Those two rivers dump off into the Persian Gulf. So now you can see the devastation that would happen. This is all where Ishtar and Inanna and all of these myths were born. Now you can see how catastrophic the effect would be of a war in this region, because this is all where this was happening and unfolding, north of Egypt, just south of Iran. Pretty crazy, right? Was your brother in it too? No way! Did you see that from Dawn O'Connor? She said she was an Arabic linguist during the Persian Gulf War. I bet you've got crazy stories to tell too. Woo! Yeah, we'll talk more symbolism, Scout, between Angela Fos and her star during session 4. And I'm just making myself a note to remind myself to do that. Really crazy, right? Okay, so this was the Fertile Crescent. So this was, even though almost nothing grew north of this and very little grew south of it, the Fertile Crescent was full of almost anything they wanted to grow because it was fed and nourished by those two rivers. Yeah, so we'll talk more about symbols because I'm going to be focusing on her star and some of the other symbols during session 4 when we're doing our, and I'm going to be drawing the Angela Fos with the henna. So that's all session 4 stuff, is the symbolism. No, you're so good. I'm so glad that you asked. Okay, I wanted to give you the geography. I don't know if that's interesting to you, but when I'm meditating or when I'm journeying and we're talking about a specific time in history, I like to be able to conjure in my head kind of an image of what that place would look like. And so as we're journeying tonight, I want you to literally imagine, I mean, it really was a crescent, an upside down crescent, which is how they say that the moon hung in the sky in ancient Iraq anyway. You know that story, right? They say that the moon used to hang, now the moon hangs in the sky like this, but the moon used to hang in the sky like that. And that's where all of those representations of the moon with the points down come from. Interesting, right? Yeah, we'll get back to you, Dawn Marie, with session 4 date. So hang tight. We're re-architecting things right now. Is that helpful? Okay, cool. That's right. Okay. So the two rivers ran through that crescent, And that is why that area was so rich for building. So let me give you a timeline too. So when we talk about the temples to Ishtar being built in Sumeria, which were initially, again, Inanna's temples converted to Ishtar, this takes us back to 4500 BCE, before Christ. 4500. So we are now back 6020, what would that be? 4, 5, 6, 65, 20 years. Is that right? Isn't that crazy? Woo! Yeah. Long time. As an interest, my family's part Persian, so I'm always interested in the Persian influence here. So Cyrus, who was king of Persia, actually conquered Nebuchadnezzar and took over Babylon in 539 BCE, and that was the rise of the Persian Empire. And then the influence spreads and expands, and that's how we start to see the energy of Sumeria moving further into that part of the world, further north to Iran, and then further toward the Mediterranean. And that's when we start to see the Phoenician influence, the Greek influence, ultimately the Roman influence. So we start in this kind of basin of the Fertile Crescent and the Persian Gulf, but the energy and the mythology and even the people migrate north, and then they ultimately move west. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you about that. No, I think that's it. So I wanted to situate everything that we're going to be talking about now in history, because this is, whether or not this is your physical lineage in this lifetime, it's very possible that this is your spiritual lineage. You may have had past lives there. When I first started to see visual representations of Inanna and Ishtar and even Enheduanna and some of the high priestesses and the temples, I had real deja vu. I mean, I really feel like I was there. And I think a lot of you have had those feelings too, that there's something in it that connects you or that is sticky for you, where you're like, I know too much about that, or this feels intuitive to me, or, I resonate with those symbols or whatever it is. And even, Ishtar's star, it's hard for me even with popular culture because you'll see it represented as the star of Alexander the Great, right? That's not Alexander the Great's star. That's Ishtar's star. And he co-opted it, when he conquered Egypt. And Egypt got it from Ishtar. I mean, literally, it was like Ishtar to Cleopatra to Alexander the Great. And it's shitty because then the Greeks, and the Phoenicians get this credit for this symbology that really belongs to Ishtar. So if you've ever wondered why I carpeted my room the way I did, you see? My carpet has the Star of Ishtar on it. It's all 8-pointed stars. And that's why. When I found this carpet, I'm like, it's Ishtar's carpet. And it was really funny because the man at the carpet store said, most people when they see an 8-pointed star think of Alexander the Great. And I just looked at him and I'm like, no, they don't. I think I said something like, oh yeah, sell it somewhere else, buddy. So, and the 8-pointed star, even today, is considered to be a symbol of prosperity. The number 8 is the number of wealth, right? It is the 4-pointed star, which is the 4 directions made double, right? So it's the earth and the sky. I try not to be shitty like that, but there is part of me, because I know all of this, I'm like, that is not Alexander's star. But you don't want to be that person. You know how annoying that is when you're like, actually, and people are like, oh, thanks for being a know-it-all, so I try not to do that. But I do want people sometimes to realize that nothing that is Greek is original. Nothing that is Roman is original. Nothing that's Egyptian is original. It all goes back to Sumer. If it's not Sumerian, so that's why, the Iraqis have the richest lineage when it comes to magic and ceremony and temples and and they were the first ones. The Iraqis were the first ones to build the ziggurat, which was the temple to reach the sky. And they did that, before anyone else built any other structures. It's so fascinating to me, right? It's not Alexander's star. Okay, so let's let's now start to prepare ourselves for journey. I'm going to bring this now into a slightly different context. So now that you understand who she was, who Ishtar was, and what she represented, you have to know that the most important goddesses have always been considered to be goddesses of fertility and war, right? Because the idea was you could be a goddess of fertility and you could be a goddess of war, but if you were both, you kind of held all the power in the universe, right? And so that's what she was. And her high priestesses were considered to be channels for access to all wisdom of all time, to the power of heaven and the power of the earth. Maybe not the power of the underworld, because it didn't really work out for Ishtar. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like she came back and she had that power. Her sister Ereshkigal is still considered the queen of the underworld, right? And so what's interesting about Ishtar, and the stories of Ishtar before her death are stories of, she fell in love, and she really did. And she wanted to be monogamous, but she couldn't. Ishtar was not. She was said to be impetuous. She was said to be beautiful. It was very hard for her to be monogamous. That's a great question, Jeff. So, Gypsy, well, a lot of what I know about history is actually from my formal education. I was a professor of Western civilization to college students for years. So I used to teach all of this. This is really my background, not only my metaphysical background in education, but this is a lot of my academic background too. And so it's really fun for me when I get to teach you all of this, because I've actually never had a teacher of the history other than my college professors. And I took classes in, the history of the Middle Eastern region and all of these areas. So it's really fun to connect you to that. So let me come back to prep for journey, because I don't want to get too I don't want to take us too long past our time tonight. Okay, so what happened with the priestesses of Ishtar is that they would have sex, right? And it was ritualized, it was ceremonialized. That the cult of Ishtar, the priestesses of Ishtar, however you want to call it, was the beginning of what we know today as sex magic. Okay? And sex magic is at some point, maybe it's a bonus class that we do. Although I don't know. It's so easy in a way to teach you about sex magic. I don't think it wouldn't take like a 2-hour class for us to really get into it. In fact, pretty much what I'm telling you today is what you need to know about sex magic. Okay? So the idea was that the priestesses, through their physical body, and in particular through their vagina, because that was the portal into them, that they would initiate. They could initiate men or women into the power of Ishtar. And so it was considered holy, and it was considered sacred to have physical intercourse with one of the priestesses, because the idea was that when you had sex with her, that you were entering the temple of Ishtar. And so what's fascinating is the priestesses became it wasn't like you were having sex with a woman, but you were entering the temple. And so the priestess's body was ceremonial, the way in which they connected, the sex they had, the location of it in the temple, certain parts of the temple were cordoned off, and it was considered holy and sacred. Now today we would call that prostitution, because these people would compensate the priestess to be able to enter her and then move through her body through that portal into the temple of Ishtar, where they would be. And this happened for royalty. Royalty would be initiated this way. This was the coronation, darling. This is what they did. And so, but like I said, today we would have all this judgment about it, like, oh, you have to have sex to be initiated? Come on. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, you paid her? That's prostitution. So we've come a really long way from seeing the female body as an absolute portal to divine magic and power, and something that the male entered in order to enter the temple, and he could only get into the temple through the body of the female. Right? We've come really far away from that to where we don't believe that it's a portal. Right? It's a transaction. I might say some things in the next couple of minutes that might rub you the wrong way. You got to kind of go with it because we're talking about a period of history. So I'm not saying that this is how I think everything should be, but I would be remiss not to really describe some of these things to you, because of what it represented. So it wasn't just male female. A lot of it was female female. I mean, there's less penetration, obviously, for obvious reasons, but there was a lot of female priestess to priestess union and different positions that they would do to activate each other before they would engage with the sacred, union or the sacred marriage or the sacred rite of entrance. So, and there would be, sometimes there would be multiple partners and stuff. It was not like heterosexual missionary sex to enter the temple, right? I mean, they were having a good time too. Here's where it went from just being sex to being magic, okay? So the point of orgasm, the point of orgasm is the union with the divine. So the idea was that the goal was for the male or the partner to orgasm at the same time as the priestess, and because that was the moment of union. So there was a lot of work toward union at the same time. And then, that's right, the moment of death, right? The death, because at the moment of orgasm, you are in between worlds. You actually stop breathing when you come, right? So that is the ultimate moment when you are not alive and you're not dead. That's why the French call it le petit mort, right? The little death. That's what they say. That's the French word for orgasm, because you're not alive and you're not dead. So you had to wait for her, she had to wait for him, whatever. And then at the moment of orgasm, and by the way, this perpetuated on through ancient Greece, other places, and is still practiced today. There are lots of places, they're not publicly discussed a lot, but where sex magic is still practiced. So the idea was simultaneous orgasm. That was the moment of connection with the divine. You were in the temple, and then mutual intention at that moment, which would manifest. Okay, so before they would have sex, they would have a joint intention, whoever was having sex with who. So they would, and like I said, a lot of times these were people who didn't know each other. So they are coming together for the purpose. Yeah, it's like tantric sex or sex magic, right? There's a woman I'm friends with on Facebook who says she teaches it. I don't know if she actually does, but there's, I shared her work with you before, Andrea. I've never really studied under anybody's specific sex magic, but I'm sure, I know and I hear of tantric, there's all kinds of tantric conferences and all kinds of, there's stuff. You got to get plugged into the right circle. So maybe I should have Andrea come and tell us some stories one of these days. There are teachers and there are people who practice. So they would set an intention, they would have sex, and then at the moment of orgasm, when they connected with the divine, they would focus on that intention together. Okay? Now, you can do this with your partner. You can do it alone. Honestly, what I would tell you is every time you have an orgasm, you should be focused on an intention. If you're really going to start to work this, it actually does work. It's just really hard because usually the last thing you're thinking about when you're getting ready to go is your intention, right? You're thinking about your partner, or I don't know what you're thinking about. But what you should be thinking about is my new business or, whatever, a second home or whatever you're trying to put energy toward, right? Creating my new coaching, whatever, or bringing that podcast forward, whatever. You should be, right? If you're alone, it's much easier. That is, now, to find a partner who's going to set an intention with you, have sex with you, agree to climax with you at the same moment, and at the moment of climax, agree to hold the same intention while you look into each other's eyes. That's a whole different, at least in my world, situation. Don's like Tinder. Did you miss what I said, or did you get it? Did it buffer when I was saying that? Did you get it? Hope's like, Joe, you down? So that's what you have to do. You have to set an intention. If you want to do it the old way, the temple way, you have to, both of you, eye to eye, you set an intention. You do the thing. You simultaneous it up. And at that moment, you look into each other's eyes and completely focus on the intention. Did you get it? Internets are trying to get me to behave. I know. It's like she's talking about the mutual sympathetic orgasm, isn't she? Mm-mm. Study partners. So your homework is Joe and Hope are at a complete advantage here, I have to say. Right? But yeah. Get it, Joe. Okay. So, we are not going to do this tonight because I'm not going to sit here and, do that with you. Some of you would like it, and some of you would be like, I am leaving Soul Shift right this minute. I'm out of here. This is horrible. I didn't sign up for this. I don't want this. What is she doing? She has officially lost her damn mind. And so because I know there'd be people on both sides of that, I'm just not going for it. I'm not going to do it. But we are going to talk about this just a little bit more, and then we're going to do a little drumming. They're already doing it. Yeah, we may not hear from Hope and Joe for a few minutes. Let's let them be. I will say I haven't done it in that way before. Like completely, I've come close. I've done most of that, but I can't say I've done the intention locked eyes at the moment. I've done the simultaneous climax thing, and I've held the intention and I've focused on it, and I've had the eye contact thing, but I can't say that the other person has been holding the same intention at that moment. I haven't taken it to that place before. But I know people who do. Debbie's like, nope, I'm in. Cecilia volunteers as tribute. Oh, I love that. Suzanne says she thinks that's how her eldest daughter was born. Talk about a bonus class, right? Yeah, Dave's busy right now. This isn't really Dave's jam. But let's be honest, this isn't most partners' jam. Do you know what I mean? Most partners would be like, I'm down to have sex with you. I'm really into that, but I don't really want to hold an intention and then stare at you and think about that intention at that moment. That's not what I'm here for. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he'd pretty much tell me, we're good. Why don't you hold an intention and I'm just going to have a good time. We'll see if we can line it up. No, he's a Virgo. No, it's not going to happen. But there are partners who will. I'll tell you that. I've had some fun partners. There's some partners who'll go on that journey with you. Okay. And that's great. Deb's headache is gone. Look at that. It's a miracle. Okay. Now he'd be like, you do that. Okay. So now let's bring this back to our journey. You guys are so fun. It's really true. That's why, and that's what Alexa said. Remember how I always have told you I only expect 75% of what I need from Dave at best. I always try to get my 25% somewhere else. This would be part of the 25% I'd have to get somewhere else. Somewhere else. Woo! You guys are so funny. You crack me up. Thank God. And honestly, can I just say something? I'm going to put parentheses around this moment. How awesome is this moment? The world's in a weird place. I'm sure that you're thinking about all kinds of things all the time, and you're busy and you're stressed and all these things. How fun that we just get to sit here and have this conversation and get lost in it a little bit. You know what I mean? Thank you for being open and interesting and fun and magical and wise. Like, I just want to say I love you, and I'm so grateful for this moment. I really, really am. Because it's just so good. And laughter is such good medicine, and just like, being silly, but we're learning at the same time, right? So Yeah, and your new moon intention, could be shaped tonight, as the case may be. I love you guys. Oh, Lord have mercy. It does. It feels very, very good. Sandy's like, I'm calling in my partner to practice. Don't make me put you in timeout. I do have glasses here. I do. Maybe you've been naughty. Let me see what you've got. It's terrible. Okay, so let me bring it back serious. Come back serious with me for a minute. Whew. Yeah, this is not for social distancing. This is like all up in the business. This is all up in the business. Okay. So, here's where this gets real, okay? Tonight's meditation is about embodiment. And it's partly what we've been talking about. It's partly about learning how to hold an intention and learning how to bring that intention into your body. That's part of what tonight is about. Okay? So it's one thing to visualize. We've learned about mentalism through the Hermetic principles. I've been teaching this to you for a long time now. Sorry, I've got a gloss up. So part of this is about learning how to visualize and crystallize a vision of what you want. But the reality is you don't manifest here. That vision has to become embodied. You have to feel it. You have to connect to it. You have to be able to understand it on a somatic level as if it's already happening in this moment. That is the secret that people who manifest don't talk about. Okay? It's really true. So you can focus on things with your mind all day long and the vision's very clear and all of that, but until it gets in here, until it gets in your heart, until it gets in your solar plexus, until it really gets down into your root chakra. And so one of the visualizations that the priestesses used to do in sex magic is they would visualize these, almost like the caduceus. It's very much Kundalini, but this even predates that, right? Although I would argue that the Sumerians were probably influenced by some of the older Vedic wisdom, right? But the idea is that the snakes are sort of winding up your central channel and that they connect at the top. That's where the symbolism of the caduceus comes from. And so the line that they wind up is the central channel or your spinal column. And so it starts from your root chakra and your sacral chakra and winds and winds and winds like the DNA double helix all the way up to the top. And so the reason that they would do that in sex magic is they would imagine the energy of what you want. Instead of imagining it starting here in your mind, you have to imagine it almost at the base of your spine. So to prepare for this, and our timing is so good, right? We are in the new moon window now. So we're going to be starting the work tonight. Whatever we do tomorrow in ritual is just going to be kind of piggybacking on what you and I do together tonight. So I want you to, for the first time maybe, close your eyes and I want you to imagine something that you're trying to manifest right now. What are you trying to create right now that isn't in form yet? Okay? That's right. Drop it into the root and work it up. That's exactly right, Sherry. That's where we're going with this. Ooh. What are you trying to manifest that isn't in material form right now? And really think about it. I have to think about it too. I haven't been in a manifesting place just because it's like life is weird. So I haven't been focused on like future creation. I've been focused on like the here and now. So this is even an invitation to me to be like, yeah, what do I want to create that isn't in form yet? And you can make it something really simple, really something easy. Or you can make it complex too. It can be a big dream or a little dream, just something that isn't in form yet. What do you want to manifest? And I want you to bring your attention to your root chakra, which again is right at the base of your spine, right at your perineum. Bring your attention there. And I want you to visualize whatever that is. And again, instead of letting it sit in your mind, I want you to bring it out and imagine that it's sitting in your root. I want you to place that intention inside your body. You can even imagine like your root chakra almost being a little house, and the intention goes and lives in there. Like open the little door, let the intention go in, close the door behind it, right? Prosperity, peace, lightness of being for Sarah, getting her mom's bank account open. For Bailey, first coaching program with Sarah, beautiful. Yeah, new career for Tammy, it's fantastic. Lori went all the way to the Earth Star like that. So it's comfortable living for herself and her children with Heidi. I feel like there's a partner around you too, Heidi. It's not right now, but there's some partner energy around you too. Better personality and service to the ones around me. Yeah, it can be big and long term, Casey, or it can be like what you want tomorrow. So it's okay. Like let it kind of unfold. Starting your business, winning your lawsuit, moving, happiness, healing. But like again, just imagine that your root chakra is a room, a little house with a door. Open the door, put the intention inside. I'm a very visual person, so maybe you are too. So put the intention inside, like literally visualize like putting it in there, and close the door. Like let it sit there for a minute. Love with yourself for Vanya. I like that too. Beautiful. Look at all that. Teresa's opening a new salon. Tina's opening her own business. Happiness for Cindy Riggs. It's beautiful. Can you feel it? Like sit it in there. And you can fill that little room full of all kinds of stuff. Happiness, joy, a new business, new venture, new partner, new attitude towards yourself. Like I said, I'm healing some trauma from earlier in my life. So I'm like putting my little healed little girl in there. She's in there. Big emotions. Is your little root chakra house getting big? Put it in there. Comfortable living with a Reiki room, a business for Mariah, money and wealth for Paige. I like it. Put it in there. Yeah, so Emily, that's why this exercise is so important. And it's okay not to know right now. And so start with something small and then watch how it builds. Because you can go, well, I don't know. How about peace? And then you're like, well, peace and maybe, a new workroom would give me some peace. No, yeah, if I had a new workroom, then maybe I could expand my business. Like it's interesting how these things kind of, one little intention starts to grow legs, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I guess I do have these other dreams, right? So just let it be free flowing for this minute, you know what I mean? And just make room for whatever it is to live there. And just put it all in there. And really feel the energy of it, right? It's beautiful to see you guys there. It's beautiful. It's a book for Tina, Healed Child for Lori, like me, to write for Jill, Cannabis Holistic Healing Center. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm ready. For Coral, it's finishing her capstone so she can finish her master's degree. I like that. New morning routine for Space Daisy. I love it. Putting a baby in your room. I like it. I would have another baby if I could. Best-selling fiction series. Hell yeah. Okay, are you done? Is it in there? It's just a little bun in your oven. Doesn't have to be a big bun. It can be a little bun. Just something in there that we can work with tonight, okay? It's so good. The timing tonight is divine. It's divine. Okay, you got it in there? Now, I want you to imagine that those two snakes are there, okay? And so as they, and we're going to do this with the drum, but I want to explain the visual to you. So as I begin to drum, I want you to imagine, I'm going to rattle first, which is going to invite the snake energy, okay? And then I'm going to start to drum. And as I drum, I want you to imagine those snakes coming up, and they'll wind from underneath the vision and start to wind up your central channel. And I want you to feel the energy of your intention rise through each one of the chakras. So right now it's sitting at the root. As it rises through the sacral, and I'll talk you through it. I want you to imagine giving it your creative power, your passion, your drive, right? And then as it comes up to the solar plexus, I want you to imagine giving it your willpower and your personal power, right? And your confidence. And that as it comes up through your heart, I want you to imagine sending it your love and your appreciation. And then as it comes up through your throat, I want you to, if you can, if you're alone and it doesn't embarrass you, or if you don't care, just do it. Talk about it, speak to it, right, as it comes up through your throat. And then when we get to the third eye, I want you to visualize it as clearly as you can. And as the snakes wind up at the crown, I want you to imagine that visualization, that manifestation actually touches the divine, right? That is where it exits your physical body and connects with source energy. It's sort of like giving it to God, in a way, is what we're doing tonight. Woo! So if you don't want to do snakes, that's okay. Just imagine 2 lines. Work with a DNA visualization instead if snakes are weird for you. Snakes are Ishtar's thing, and they're also the sign and symbol of the Kundalini. So, but if it's too weird for you or you don't want to do that, that's okay too. Give it to God and hand it to Great Spirit. Okay, now this is the last piece. Before we can do this really, really well, okay? So I'm going to take 5 more minutes before we start. I just want to really set this up so that you know where the meditation is going. What I have learned over the last couple of months is that the main reason people don't manifest is that they've got a subconscious block. Okay, there's some subconscious reason that the things that you should have, that you deserve, that you want, that you've wanted forever, that are right within your reach, for some reason are not happening. And it's not because you're not trying, and it's not because you're not cute, and it's not because you're not smart. It's just there's a block, okay? So before we start this exercise, I want to try to do something a little bit different. So we've got everything, we've sat everything in that root chakra. I want you to imagine inviting also into that space, into that root chakra space. Any of your pain, any of your wounding, if you're brave enough to do this, I want you to invite that in to the manifestation space as well. Because as we bring it up the line tonight, we are going to heal it. That's going to be part of our intention, is to heal. So not only manifesting what we're trying to create, but healing the reasons why we can't do it yet, okay? So that we get the subconscious blocks out of the way. So if you can identify what a subconscious block might be to what's in your root chakra already, can you visualize what the block is? Why hasn't that thing already manifested itself? Do you know what it is? And here's where this gets really big. Ready? If you don't know, ask your spirit guides to bring it through you for healing tonight. And that's okay. Lori, take a breath, Lori. Maybe just stay with us, Lori, if you wouldn't mind. This can be, and you don't have to bring the trauma into that space, Lori, if you're not ready or you don't want to. You do this at your pace, okay? You don't have to bring the kit and caboodle. You can just bring one little edge of it, or you don't have to bring anything in. You can just focus on the manifestation. But maybe just hang with us and be present with us in this space, because it might actually help you, even in this moment, just to continue to breathe and be in the energy field, even if you don't do the actual meditation. That way, when you decide you do want to do it, you kind of have a visualization of what that will look like. Right? So Hillary was told, no, you can't have that, right, when she was younger. Or poverty, right? You don't have to know your spirit guides, Valerie. It's okay. You can just say, I welcome you in, spirit guides. So let's take that moment now. I'm going to open the circle for us. You ready? I want you to roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time. So glad you're here. So let's call in the guides and guardians of the four directions to be present with us. I hear you. I see you too, Dot. A lot of us are in that boat, having not been seen. Now we become afraid to be seen, right? I'm so glad, Lori Michelle. All right. We welcome you in tonight, guides and guardians of the four sacred directions, to be present in our circle. We welcome in the guides and guardians of the Eastern Gateway tonight for clarity, for direction, helping us to see, helping us to understand, helping us to visualize our dreams as we set our intentions at this new moon phase. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the South for courage and strength and stamina, the energy to do this work, the fearlessness it takes to let go. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the West tonight for emotional healing and release, surrender of what's too heavy to carry, helping us to swim through obstacles and challenges and belief systems to move toward a place of healing and love. And then we open the circle. We welcome the guides and the guardians of the North for their patience and their grounding, their stability and their presence, their wisdom. Thank you for showing us a better way, a faster way, an easier way. Thank you for helping us to slow down and be present and on purpose in our lives and in this work. And with that, our circle is open and the edges are held, which is beautiful. Whew. Yeah, lay down and do it. I'm always sitting up because it would be weird if I laid down, but you should definitely lay down and get comfortable. You do not have to be watching me at all. And in fact, I think it's good, not to even be in the feed if you don't want to. If you burp or yawn or fart, just know that that's a natural way of releasing energy, and it's better than getting nauseous and throwing up. So let that happen. Or crying a lot is normal, or sweating. You might get really kind of sweaty. I yawn. I shouldn't even say it because I'll start. Woo. So let's invite in our spirit guides tonight, especially our spirit guides of our personal development process, our personal evolution, our spirit guides of healing and recovery. We ask you to surround us tonight, to be present with us as we take this journey of manifestation, also this journey of reconnection, this journey of healing our younger selves so that we can manifest from a place of strength and fullness. And you always have to remember, the older woman in you isn't in her full power as long as the little girl in you is wounded, right? Because you are her and she's you. Just like the adult man you are isn't in his full power while little boy is still wounded, right? And what I've learned over the last year or so is that it's work you can do at any time to really acknowledge what those wounds are and to go back and to heal them by making those energies right in your own body. It may seem like it takes decades and you have to do all, it's complicated, but it really is just an energetic process of acknowledging what's happened to you and reparenting, right? Telling that little boy or that little girl that he's safe now, she's safe now, right? And that you are here to offer him or to offer her everything that's needed in this moment to make this moment okay. I love you, Lori. I see you. And so spirit guides, we welcome you in tonight. We give you permission here. If you do give them permission, you don't have to give them permission, but I'm giving mine permission. We give you permission here to enter this inner sanctum, to enter this space that we've opened in the root chakra tonight. And we've put some visions and some dreams in there of things that we want to create, but we invite you also to put your own energy there. What do we need to do? Where do we need to go? How do we need to heal? And you can even invite that little boy or that little girl into that little space if you want to. You can let her go in there and kind of look around. Say, see, you're safe there. You know what I mean? Check it out. Because the result that we're looking for tonight is a deeper level of empowerment for the adult you. And the adult you has to know that little you is safe. And you have the capacity to tell little you that little you is safe. And that little you should be seen and heard. And that little you is valuable and worthy. You have the capacity to do that today. Right? So if you want to do that work tonight, you can invite little person in to be present. And spirit guides, if the littles are coming in, I'd like to ask during this meditation that little person, little boy, little girl, little self receives everything that it needs tonight in order to be part of the healing process, so that adult person, adult man, adult woman can step more fully into his or her power after this meditation. And even this feels like a reparenting, right? So Debbie's seeing her little girl, right? This is reparenting. This is saying, you know what, little Debbie? I love you and I see you and you are beautiful and worthy. And in that way, you make everything whole that has been not whole for maybe a very long time. And so if you feel the need to say it out loud right now is a good time. Whatever needs to be said to little. And maybe you haven't dialogued with little before. Might even just be good to say hello. Hello, little. You are so welcome here. This is a safe, beautiful place for you to rest your head. Because everything you need is here. In this moment, at this time. That's right. And tell him how smart he is, and how worthy he is, and how beautiful she is, and protected and safe she is, and all of the things that need to be heard at this time. And so, as I begin with the rattle, this is just sealing the door of that little space. Sealing the door of the root chakra. All energies that need to be present are now present. And I'm doing this work with you. Yeah, we didn't anoint, did we? Maybe I didn't need to. If you would like to anoint, though, I'd like to invite you. I'll anoint when we're done. And just sealing up the door, sealing up the space. I'm visualizing the little space inside at the root. I'm seeing angel wings coming around and wrapping themselves around the little door of that space in the root chakra. Okay. Woo. And so I'm going to begin drumming. And I chose my deepest drum for tonight. It's a portal drum too. Because we are deep in tonight. Could you see the wings too? It's beautiful. It's like angel wings coming from behind and just wrapping around. And so spirit guides, be with us, angels and archangels, ascended masters, light beings of all time, space, dimension, frequencies, master teachers, ancestors, and Ishtar herself, Inanna, Astarte, all your names. Take us back across those shifting sands of time and wisdom. Take us back deep into our own history, deep into the history of this planet. Energies, primordial energies of creation and expansion. And visualize a few beams of white light wrapping themselves around that root chakra now. Sending light to your dreams, to your visions, to your little person. Tonight's about integration, it's about manifestation. It's about birthing. It's about manifesting from a new place where the subconscious is healed, where trauma becomes neutralized. We take the triggers out, the stinger out. So the gift of Ishtar is the gift of knowing that you have primal power. She can show you the pathway back to that. And feel those energies expand out of your root chakra now. It almost like it takes up your entire lower body. Start to feel those energies vibrate through your hips, through your legs. This is embodiment. This is what it means to take it beyond the visual, bring it into the body. And as you expand that vision, reminding every cell in your body to open tonight, to receive this message that the wounds of the past can be healed. Those old messages, those old beliefs, those old mindsets, we can override, create a new script. That you've always been perfect, just as you are, that you were wanted by this universe. When you were conceived, the universe spoke your name because it knew there were things that only you could do, that only you could create, that only you could bring. And that you need to be seen, you need to be heard, you need to be felt. And that the healing begins by you telling you. Knowing that you speak with the authority of goddess herself moves through you now. You are her child. Imagine at the different crossroads of your life, if you'd had Ishtar. Goddess of all gods, mother of all creation, consort to the sun. Nothing is outside of her purview, her power. So you walk with her protection, her love, her authority, her strength. This is your lineage, your birthright. And I hope tonight you're really feeling that root chakra in a way maybe you haven't before. Expanding, really sitting into it, feeling it as a place where everything that comes through you is born, where it all begins. So here at the root, let's give it strength. Let's give it a home. Tonight, make your body a good home for this energy, this manifestation. Make your body a good home for you, for your little one, where you're loved, you're wanted, you're seen, you're forgiven, you're understood. There's no need to ask. It's just all automatic in this moment. Whatever you needed that you didn't get, that cup gets filled here. You get that love here, you get that validation, you get that witnessing, you get that appreciation. You feel your hips all the way around. Feels good, doesn't it? Now let's let those snakes or those dual beams of light begin to wrap up and around your sacral chakra. And as we come up through the sacral chakra now, we're offering passion and creativity, sensuality and pleasure to those visions. Healing of the sacral chakra. Feeling your desires come up through it. Rise further to the solar plexus, snakes rising, beams of light circling, DNA helix is winding. And here I want you to give those visions and those dreams. I want you to give them your strength and your willpower, your confidence. You can do this, you've got this. In fact, no one else can do it quite the way you can. So you have to. The whole universe is waiting on you. Hear that little boy, little girl get some confidence. Oh yeah. I am powerful. Yes, you are. I am worthy of being seen. Oh, yes, you are. I am good. I am a being of light. Oh, yes, you are. you're going to fill up on love, compassion, appreciation. Put love into that vision. Love it up. Love everything about it. Again, Ishtar's with you. She knows beauty. She knows power. She knows passion. Moving through that vortex of her energy to bring that love and that compassion and that. It's unconditional love. It's not anything that has to be earned. It's automatic. Sending love to every one of your cells tonight. Healing the body with love, healing the mind with love, healing the spirit with love. That book with love. You're going to build that new business with love. And then bring it up through that throat chakra. Now you got to speak it. You can speak it in your mind. You can speak it out loud. Everything that needs to be said. Say it now. Speak to your dreams, speak to your visions, speak to that little person. Speak to her as if Ishtar was speaking through you. It's okay to say the same things or think the same things over and over again. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm grateful for you, I'm grateful for you, I'm grateful for you. I create you with love, I create you with love, I create you with love. Sometimes it's nice to say things in threes. It's such a powerful number. Or you can say it in eights because that's Ishtar's number. I create with love, I create with love, I create with love, I create with love, I create with love. I create with love, I create with love, I create with love, I create with love. And then bring it up to that third eye, start to visualize. You got to see it now. See that little person, see that manifestation, see that dream, see that vision, see it with your eyes, see it with your inner eye. See the details. If you're building something, see it come to life for you as if it's happening in real time. If you're writing, see yourself writing. If you're building a business, visualize the website or whatever you're doing. If you're calling in a relationship, see that person coming to you, being in good partnership with you. That little girl's been silent, see her start to talk, share what's on her heart. If she's been hiding, see her come out of hiding. If she wasn't confident like mine, see her start to walk in her power. Bring that energy up to the crown, top of your head, seat of God. And this is when this energy will leave your body as we connect it to the soul star, give it to the heavens. Ishtar Ishtar as Queen of Heaven will, from this point in the meditation, take your intention. She'll take that energy of that little one with you, with her. So from here, we're going to hand it off. So Ishtar, we ask that you meet us here. We're going to give you our dreams, our visions. I'm going to give you the hand of our little person. Again, what if that little boy had walked with Ishtar? Protection, strength, power. What if that little girl had walked with Ishtar? Protection, strength, power, love, creation. You can even visualize Ishtar coming now. She's such a mother goddess, coming and taking the little one's hand. Kind of like, I'll take it from here. Let her take those visions and those dreams too back to heaven through the angelic gateways, past the third dimension into the fourth, the fifth, to the ninth and the 12th, where those visions change or shift, metamorphose from energy to form. They become the book you wrote. They became the art that you created. They became the business that you built that's now successful. They became the relationship that you found. They became the child that you conceived and birthed. Visualize him, visualize her. She's taking this from you now. It's wound its way through your energy field. You did a good job. You reparented, you made a safe space, you made a home in your body. So as this healing manifests and your visions become reality, you'll know exactly how to step into them. You've already lived it. It's already moved through your system. Even I went somewhere real far away there for a few minutes. So what I'm going to do, I can get up on my knees a little bit, get some leverage here. Ooh, did you see? Did you feel? And if you if you invited the little one in, how did little one do? Did anybody really visualize Ishtar coming and taking her little's hand and helping her? Like it was like she literally came and was like, I'll take over from here. Yeah, my little one's real happy right now. My little one's like, why didn't you do this a long time ago? Why didn't you do this a long time ago? I don't know why. But the timing was right now. So I'm taking Ishtar in my hand. Ishtar has mushroom in it. Absolute. It's the only perfume I've ever made with it. It's got other good stuff in there too. It's got this Indian frankincense, which is a Boswellia serrata. It's a straight up, Boswellia serrata is the most common frankincense, but it's from India and it smells like smoke. So what I'm going to do to seal this, and you don't have to do this, but this is what I'm doing. And I may choose to do this kind of every couple days. So I'm going to start, I'm going in my pants, sorry, I'm not trying to freak you out, but I'm going to start at my root. So you're going to put 2 fingers right at the root, right at the bottom of your pubic bone right here. And then trace it up, okay? So you're going to start there, wind up. I guess I have to go over my shirt, so maybe I should start over my pants. Let me try this. This is what I'm being called to do. So you're going to start here, and let's go here, here. And you're going to wind up and over. So let's start. Up. So let's call this root. Up, over the sacral, over solar, over heart. Don't lose contact. That's what I'm being told. Over throat. Feels really good. Over third eye. Let me bring it up over the throat again. Over third eye. My rings are getting tangled. And then over crown. And end at the top of your head. And then bring the scent through so you can really get a good deep inhale of that. I'm going to do that one more time. So down at the base, up over the sacral, over the solar, over the heart, over the throat, over the third eye, over the crown. And then deep inhale. Whew. Yeah, it's like ribbons. Yeah, and you can use snake for that too. Actually, snake and Ishtar together would be really yummy. That'd be a really good combination. And this blend, you can combine this with snake, but actually if you're going to do a deep meditation, what I would do is diffuse this. It'll make you a little soft, kind of like the way Blue Lotus does. It'll have a little bit of that effect on you, but it's also very clearing for all of the chakras because of the frankincense. So I would diffuse this before you meditate, and then I would anoint with it through your body like I just did. Oh yeah. And it'd be actually really awesome to take that and put that in the shower or in the bath and then just do it naked on your body while you're, like, I take baths every day. I think what I'll do is bring that to the bathtub so when I'm in the bath I can just... Angela Foss would be fine too. And look, Lorian used Blue Lotus. Actually, I would recommend it. I think that's really great. Yeah, I'm glad you like Ishtar. It's probably an acquired scent because it's smoky, but I like it and it actually goes with other things really well too. Well, and it would go really nicely together with snake because snake's got the labdanum in it, and it's got, I mean, it's such an earthy, beautiful blend anyway, so all of those notes are going to partner really well. Whew. I'm not sure I'm fully back. That just feels so good. Just to be with your breath and the scent, and it feels earthy and ancient and so magnificent. That's the good stuff, y'all. Did you go deep? Yeah, I feel tipsy. And I'm not, so that's a good meditation for you. Ooh. Yeah, so Kathy, do this again, right? Or even just do that part when your perfume arrives. Just do that part. Yeah, Snake and Ishtar. Where'd my bottle of Snake go? Oh, fuck, that's awesome. Because then you get the cardamom, you get the labdanum. It's like there's so much going on in there. Oh. If anybody saw you like watching me, they're like, "What's your teacher doing?" She was like, "Ooh." So Sherry was saying it was embodied for her. For me, it was kind of both. It was in my body and it was in my head too. So good. Snake is cardamom, labdanum. Fuck, what was the other one? Alexis can tell you what the other one was. And Ishtar's the frankincense with the... Ishtar's got like 8 notes in it, but the primary notes are mushroom and the Boswellia serrata. It's so good. I feel tipsy. This is your second class, Valerie. What'd you think? I kept my clothes on. I get an A. Allspice, that's right. So good. Oh, that's cute. Deanna's son likes to come in after. So, we brought our snakes up. What goes up must come down. All good Kundalini meditations bring me back. So we're going to bring that snake down from our crown. And visualize it coming down. The 2 snakes over the third eye, over the throat, over the heart, back over the solar plexus, back over the sacral, down to the root. And let those snakes line themselves back up. Grounding you in. And then rub your hands together. If you need to be earthing, garnet. Got my garnet cube here. Or just rubbing your hands together and putting them on the floor will help you earth too. You can sit on the floor and rub your butt around to earth too. I'm so glad you guys liked it. Okay. Woo. So it is time to release our friends from their service. And thank you for not minding that I went over time. Thank you, Alexis, for being there. So we want to thank the guides and guardians of the Northern Gateway for holding steady tonight with us, helping to keep us safe and grounded and protected through our journey this evening. We release you with so much gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the West, thank you for facilitating such deep healing tonight and helping us connect into those bigger emotions with bravery. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the South, thank you for the courage and strength it takes to transform, to heal. The great work of our life is this work. And we give thanks for the courage it takes, the creativity it requires, the commitment, the fearlessness in the South. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the East, thank you for clarity tonight, helping us crystallize our intentions on the edge of this new moon. Thank you for helping us see accurately what's going on in our lives and what needs to be shifted for our growth. We release you with so much gratitude. And with that, our class is complete. And I'm really glad you were here tonight. You did great, great, great work. You really did. You were right there. I could feel you energetically the whole time. And I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. I'm just reading through your comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being there. Aho, well, with that, class 3 for May is complete. And so we have 2 more classes. As you know, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to have our bonus class next week on how to read astrological charts. My little Cliff's Notes, easy peasy, how to do it. And then we will have session 4, probably the first week of June, when your henna arrives. And that's when we will work with our herbs. I'm going to be drawing our Angelophos symbol on, in addition to tracing over the flash tattoos, which is what I do with my henna. And you can draw any kind of sacred geometry that you want, just have fun. You might actually, in the meantime, start to pull up some henna designs online if you have time, like on Pinterest or Google. Maybe it'll give you something to kind of plan for your design if you want to do that. So we have 2 classes left for May before all is said and done. Oh, I'm so happy, Janice, and happy birthday to you. And I'm so glad you got to journey tonight. Yeah, I just released the directions, Emily. You must have had a really good journey, girl. Yeah, I did. It's okay if you kind of, you're here but not here right now. I sure did let them go. I think so. Yeah, pendulums are coming for June for Crystal Masters, which is pretty exciting. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm super glad you guys were there. And that's right. I did, yeah. I did with my selenite, and I released the directions. You guys may have had your eyes closed. We are all good. So our journey is complete tonight. Thank you for stepping up and doing this work. I highly recommend taking a bath or a shower, drinking some water or some tea, and eating some food. Those 3 things will get you back in your body. I want to encourage you to do some journaling. Oh, my replica pendulums are coming at the end of May. They're shipping on Friday from India. So those are coming soon. So I would encourage you to do a little bit of journaling around continuing to ask yourself, what does little Debbie need? What does little Joanne need? What does little Jenny need? What does little Athena need? And considering some ways you might be able to give him or her the things that he or she needs right now. I got my rain disc on Etsy. So if you go to Etsy and search rain disc, you will find them. It was a gift to me, but she got it on Etsy. And they're the only ones who make the Flower of Life rain disc that I know of. So you should be able to find it pretty easy. Thanks, you guys. And then Alexis is taking notes, or took notes, so she will post those in the classroom page for you next week when she is done with that. And then tomorrow, the links, by the way, from my drum maker are in our Facebook group. So if you want to know where to get a drum like that, that is the place to go. Shaman Drum on Etsy is my favorite, and they're super good. It just takes a long time. For this drum over here took 3 months. So it just depends. You got to give them time. But it's all hand painted too. So no, I didn't play a rain disc. She was just asking me where I got mine. So thank you for the questions, and hopefully I'm giving you good guidance. Yeah, Shaman Drum on Etsy is the bomb. Sherry got her drum there, and so I did too. So I think you'll really enjoy working with them. No, I will. I'm gonna put the replicas up for Soul Shift only for like a day, and then I'll open them up to the rest of the public because I don't have a lot of them. So not that you'll need to feel pressured to get one, but I know some of you have been waiting for the replica pendulums, and I try to do things like that. People get mad at me for leaving stuff for you guys only. Sometimes I get a lot of little notes from people saying, why you did that for Soul Shift? And it's like, because you guys are the most important people in our community. Like, my whole team knows it. Like, Soul Shift first, man. So anyway, that will definitely be something just for you guys, and then we'll open it up to the public. And I will tell people the truth, which is that's what we do. There have to be benefits to to being in the class. It's this. I had this recreated because we can't get these anymore. So I found out the manufacturer stopped making them, I guess, too. So, but this is sterling silver. So I had these recreated and they're done. They were done before the quarantine and then they just couldn't ship them. But it's heavy. It's sterling silver. And they had to make it in 3 pieces. So first they had to make this part. Then they had to cut the quartz. Then they had to make the sterling silver tip and assemble it. It's 3 separate pieces. So I got to watch the whole process unfold, which is pretty cool. The first round that's coming is amethyst, just like mine, because everybody wanted a replica. So the first round that's coming is amethyst. And then I'm hoping around the holidays I can do a version 2, but I don't know yet. It depends on what goes on in India. Yeah, well, and if you see people complaining, why did you give it to Soul Ship first? Then you can tell them, because we're special and we get shipped first. Just like people are mad that they can't buy the solstice kit today. It's like, sorry, it's for your private ceremony. Nobody did buy it who wasn't in Soul Shift or Crystal Masters, but they were frustrated. So anyway, that reminds me, your solstice tools are there. So if you would like a solstice kit for your private solstice ceremony on the 19th, those are at sagegoddess.com. Your code is 18Luna. They're shipping from India at the end of this month, the replica pendulum. So I would say 2 weeks, maybe middle of June, 1st to 2nd week of June is when the replica pendulums will be here. I'll keep you posted. As soon as I know and I've got tracking and everything, I will keep you guys posted. I'll try to give you at least 24 hours notice that they're coming to the site so that you know in advance. Thanks for being here, you guys. I really enjoyed this time with you. I really, really did. I journeyed with you. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is I'm doing this work too. You know, I'm not here as like some guide who isn't having to do her own work or isn't struggling with her own stuff. Like I'm in the middle of my own work. Not that I think we're ever done. And so I really honor you because I know how hard this is. I'm doing it too. So keep going. It's great work and it's worth it. On the other side of it is liberation. That I can tell you for sure. And a lot of healing on the other side of it. So, mwah! I'll see you.